I mean, the reason I like the Bengals team total under is, I mean, according to that game total of 48 through -3 spread, we're looking at what, 23.5 team total. You're asking them to score 3.5 times with Jamar Chase, with everything he's saying, Joe Mixon with that offensive line. Like, I just don't see it. I see the Vikings winning easily, but I see that team total happening even easier. Give me Bengals team total under. Take it to the bank.
I'll take I like the Vikings -3 here. But the Bengals, they have arguably one of the best, not the best, maybe top three wide receiver trios in the league, bro. Like, oh, actually,
how could you say that? How could you say that now that after that conversation with Jamar?
That's a bold statement.
How can you say that?
Now I have to take my step. I gotta take a step back.
You got to go way back.
Only because they have 3 names of
man. That's actually tough, but
the last on the list.
Nevertheless, you still got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd there, and those guys, they see the white line on the ball and they can catch it. So I mean, yeah, that was a take of mine that they were top 3 wide receiver trio. Now that he's struggling to catch the ball, I'm gonna have to take a step back. So let me correct myself there. But yeah, I do like the Vikings -3. I don't have it as a best bet, but I think it's highly likely that hits.
Can I ask you a question about that wide receiver trio?
What's up?
If you had them at 3, I'm assuming you had what, Bucks and Cowboys at 2 and 1 in whatever order.
And look,
so you were putting the Steelers originally below the Bengals with Deontay, Juju, and
I don't really like Juju. I'm not a big Juju guy. First off, Deontay, I mean, he's cold, but yeah, man. I mean, going into before Jamar Chase is having these issues, I think Jamar Chase, phenomenal athlete in college, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, I think it's a great wide receiver trio. So yeah, I think it is. I'm not saying that's how I feel, but I think it's a very arguable point that they could be. Yeah, I'm not big on Juju anyway.
They just got to paint the ball, just paint it brown, and maybe deflate it a little bit, and then Jamar Chase will be ready to go.
Yeah,
call Tom Brady if you want.
Great player. You just got to paint the ball and get his depth perception up to speed again.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there, Nico? You got a little fancy juice?
A little fancy juice, you know.
All right. Love that.
All right, so we're all basically very heavy on the Vikings. Now, I feel like I like the Bengals offense, truthfully. It's hard to – man, I don't know, dude. It really bums me out that Jamar Chase is having these issues. Like, but whatever.
It'll be short-lived.
Whatever. Yeah, maybe it will. He's an athlete. He'll get over it. Maybe he's got the yips. But anyways, let's move on. We got the Philadelphia Eagles going into Atlanta. The Falcons are -190 favorites. Eagles +160 on the money line. +3.5 is the spread, set at 48.5 for the total. Kyle Pitts is going to make his regular season debut. That's something I'm really excited to see. How do you guys feel about this game?
This is another game that is on my upset alert list. Okay. I'm going to take the Eagles on this one. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a breakout year. I think Devontae Smith is going to have a great year. He might not be, the best wide receiver in the league, but he's got the talent to do so in the coming years. I think he's going to be a great addition. Then you got Rieger. I think they're going to do well. The Falcons, are the Falcons, right? They lost Julio Jones. Their run game, they got Mike Davis, but it's Mike Davis, right? Calvin really great year. Kyle Pitts has a lot to prove. He's very hyped. I think he's going to be very well. He's going to be probably consider their WR2 even as a tight end. And then you got Russell Gage, the late sleeper that you can pick up in the 16th round.
I did 2 leagues.
People made fun of me for getting him. But if with Calvin Ridley on one side, you got Russell Gage on the other. Something happens to Ridley, Russell's in line for WR1, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got the Eagles on this one though. I think Jalen Hurts is just going to dominate.
I might agree with you. I'm staying away from the game just because these two teams I'm not big on. I think Jalen will have a good year. Matt Ryan still has it, and I hope you guys don't disagree. He finished number 4 in terms of statistics for quarterbacks last season. I couldn't name you those specific ones, but he was up there. You go to NFL.com, you can see that. But I think Mike Dave. It's going to be a weird offense. Apparently, it's going to be like a run first, but then you still got Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts out there. I think the Eagles have a good chance at the upset, but I don't know, man. I think it's another one of those games that's going to be weird.
So
it is going to be weird. I think
this might
really
help
weird.
sway your mind. Maybe, I don't know. Again, back to weird stats. Same stat that I'm going to give you guys that I gave for the Jets game. The Philadelphia Eagles also fit into that category. That 6 or less wins, and now they're coming into week 1 as a road dog. Again, 81-40 against the spread when you're in that situation. Also, can we forget about are we forgetting about the 4 or 5 games that the Falcons lost in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter?
Yeah,
So
that's
if you're
why
not willing to take Philly at the beginning of the game, the instant the Falcons take the lead, live bet the shit out of the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nika, and I think the Falcons are going to take an early lead. I think they might even take a 1 or 2 score lead. But you're right, their fourth quarter is not what I'm trying to say is they might take the lead early, but they're going to come out on bottom, right? That's my opinion.
It's going to be weird, man. I mean, the Falcons score, right? They're going to score, but their defense lets other teams score. So it's going to be weird. I don't know, man. I don't like this game for betting.
Do we take the over then? If we got a score in offense and terrible defenses?
What do we say?
I think that creeps over 48.
Yeah, it's at 48.
Yeah.
My computer died. I'm looking at my phone now.
The average points for the NFL of last season, I believe, was like 54.5.
Yeah, last season was pretty crazy in terms of points scored.
Almost a full touchdown.
Let's go and take the over. I think, yeah. I mean, Trevor, how do you feel about that? I'm pretty solid on that, to be honest with you.
Like a high-scoring game, Trevor?
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think Calvin Ridley is just going to take off. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take off. I think it'll be high-scoring. It won't be like crazy high-scoring, in the 40s or anything like that. But you know what? I'll even give you a score prediction right here, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
35-27 Eagles over the Falcons. What do you guys think about that?
I think we're taking the over in our parlay.
All right, so that's going to be our first leg right there. I like
Real
that.
Talk Sports
Wasn't
parlay.
even Real Talk Sports parlay, bro. Wasn't even in my horizon, but I now have a newfound best bet. I like it, man. I think that's going to be good. Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. That was it. I like that, man. Real Talk Sports parlay. Let's get going.
Real Talk Sports parlay.
So we got the Dolphins and the Patriots, a game that I think should be pretty fun to watch. Patriots are minus 190 favorites at home. Dolphins are plus 160 on the road. 3.5 is the spread, and the over/under is set at 43.5, which is pretty low. A lot of spreads are around the 3.5 area, which is pretty interesting. But how are y'all feeling about the Dolphins and the Patriots?
I don't think that's really a question in my opinion. I think the Dolphins are going to take this. Mac Jones is coming in, got a lot to prove here. He's a great quarterback. I don't think they're going to have much run game. I don't think they're going to have much a super good.
The Dolphins
on the Patriots.
Yeah.
Dolphins, however, great wide receiver group. You got Tua on the rise and a sleeper. I picked him up in all 3 fantasy leagues at tight end, Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, I am in complete agreement with you on Mike Gesicki. I think he's going to have a great year. I picked him up in one of my leagues. I would have picked him up in more, but I kind of went tight end early this year. But yeah, Gesicki's going to have a great year.
He's going to have a great year. I picked him up as my second tight end. I usually picked Robert Tonyan from the Green Bay Packers at 1, just based on my draft orders. It really depends, but I picked up Mike Gesicki in all 3 leagues. He's so athletic. He's considered a secondary wide receiver because they play him out in the slot a lot. I also think another sleeper on the Dolphins, Myles Gaskin. I think he's a great running back. I think he's going to have a good year. Overall, I think the Dolphins are going to dominate the Patriots.
I like Gaskin a lot, and I was super high on him like a few weeks ago. But then they were like, "Oh, it's going to be a running back committee." People got a little scared of Gaskin now. I still really want to like Gaskin, so I'm going to. I think he's going to have a good year, but I guess we'll see how it goes. I don't know how this game is going to go. I kind of like the Dolphins, but at the same time, you got Bill Belichick. And now that they have Mac Jones, I think they're going to be dirty with Mac Jones. It's a different team.
Is dirty the word, Jace?
Dirty is a
Filthy.
great word. Mac Jones reminds me of, and don't get me confused with the way I'm about to say this, but Mac Jones is Bill Belichick's next Tom Brady. I'm not saying he is the next Tom Brady. I'm saying
Stop.
I
he fits that
understand.
play style perfectly to allow Belichick's system to unfold without any flaws. Cam Newton was not that Bill Belichick play style. You know, him running it in on the goal line, like Tom Brady never ran the ball at all. It was
What
like now he
weapons
can
does
go
he
back to
have?
his three-headed backfield. He's got Ramondre Stevenson, that rookie. That's the new LeGarrette Blount. He's got Damian Harris, who's drastically underrated. Great running back. And now that Cam Newton's not taking all the goal line work, Damian Harris is going to be very fantasy relevant and very relevant in the NFL. Then
How does that help out Mac
James
Jones?
White.
What is his wide receiver core?
You got Jacoby Myers and Nelson Aguilar. And Nelson Aguilar was drastically underrated. I mean, he kind of went silent last year because he was on the Raiders, but he still produced decent numbers.
Listen, I do like Nelson.
This
and
game's
shout
gonna
out
be
to
a
Berkeley
battle.
Prep. He's a Tampa resident, Berkeley Prep.
I like it. One thing that I do want to say is this game is a divisional battle. And one thing that I love to bet after week 3 of the season is betting divisional games under. You have a 64% chance of betting divisional games to go under after week 3. In weeks 1 and 2, it's actually a 57% advantage to the over. Don't know what it is about week 1 and 2, why they go over more than they go under, and it's such a big switch starting in week 3. That's the case. I know we have Will Fuller suspended for one more game. I think Jalen Waddle's going to get a boatload of receptions this week.
Yep.
I love Jalen Waddle as a huge sleeper on the season. I think we're going to hear his name a lot on ESPN and everything like that. Yep. I can't pick a side. Sounds like you guys are a little unsure of what side you really like too.
No,
I like the over. It's 43.5.
I'm very
can
sure
score
about my
43
side,
points.
Nico.
Come on, guys.
I've never been so sure about what side I'm on. I mentioned it multiple times. I'm definitely leaning toward the Dolphins. I don't know where you thought I was kind of lopsided there, but I definitely am taking the Dolphins on this one. I think Mike Gesicki, and like you said, Jalen Waddle, great game. Miles Gaskin, I think Tua is going to go off. The New England Patriots do not stand a chance.
Yeah, I think they stand a chance, but one thing is Stephon Gilmore on the PUP list, so he's going to be out. So
that is huge.
Yeah, that is huge for their defense. I kind of like the over 2 there. Now that Gilmore is not going to be there, a little more vulnerability in that New England defense. I think Tua slept on. I've already told Nico that when he was on the last podcast.
Yep.
I would take the over here if I had a bet on this game. I don't know which team. I honestly don't know what team's going to win. I would take the over.
Dolphins.
I could see it, man. I really could. I could see it.
I've already seen it. I saw it in my dream last night when I was dreaming about all these matchups. They're going to be the New England Patriots. Fix your hat.
There you go.
Ridiculous. And I'm running out of whiskey.
The Fins thing. Hey, I'm running out of fancy juice.
All right. So are we on a consensus on anything here, or should we move on to the Browns and the Chiefs?
I can't get on the Dolphins because I can't get off of the Patriots. I can't pick a side. I like the over.
Trevor, how you feeling about that over, buddy?
I have no opinion on over under that game.
All right, moving on.
It is in Gillette Stadium. That's also a tough over.
Browns.
Yeah, and I used a Gillette razor this morning. That means nothing to me.
All right, we got the Browns visiting the Chiefs. Chiefs are minus 250 favorites. Browns plus 200. It's good value if you are high on the Browns pulling off an upset. The spread is minus 5.5 in favor of the Chiefs. I'll just start off real quick. My best bet, my final best bet that I have for this podcast is Chiefs minus 5.5. I see them winning by a touchdown. I don't think the Browns are going to do it. I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to get them to an AFC championship. I don't think they are the team that they could be with Baker Mayfield. It's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Like, the Chiefs are going to win by a touchdown. Best bet.
So, if I'm not mistaken, the Browns almost did it in the playoffs to them.
Almost
did. But what I definitely know of is that stat I mentioned earlier about losing by double digits in the playoffs. The Super Bowl is technically the playoffs too. So the Chiefs technically fit into that category. If you want to get really bold and follow some weird stats, take the Browns. Take the Browns plus the 5.5. Sprinkle a little bit on their money line. I personally think the Chiefs are one of the most phony teams in the world. Mahomes is absolutely amazing. Tyreek Hill,
Phony
absolutely
team.
amazing. Andy
They
Reid,
went to the Super Bowl back to
That's
back.
disgustingly terrible.
About?
They went to the Super Bowl back to back years.
Literally, what are you talking about, Nico?
They completely fixed that offensive line too. Like Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be running around like he was in the Super Bowl.
Can I give
but
some
I guess
input
we'll
here,
see
Nico?
because they also got rid of two very well-known names on their offensive line that were supposed to be their best players that didn't clearly do it for them. So I know they replaced their offensive line. I guess we'll see if it actually makes it better
like
for
salary cap issues, really, because Patrick Mahomes took like half the world in terms of salary. So
that dude has made enough money to buy 5 Lamborghinis since the start of this podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Literally,
yeah, I'm sure. Dude,
that exact amount.
That's not even fair,
input, Nico. Let me give some input here. The Chiefs, I am 100% with you on that, Jace. So I'm guessing it. I'm seeing 2-1 here. Now that being said, the Browns, you got Baker Mayfield, who's also a sleeper. Let's talk about he's very low on the draft board, but you look at his fantasy points from last year. He had multiple games, 20, 25 plus points games. You know, I think he's a good quarterback, and he's got a lot to prove. He's already proved something. I mean, he's on the Browns though, right? You got Odell. You got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Let's talk about the defense, though, because now you got Myles Garrett back on one end. You got Jadeveon Clowney on the other end. That's a fire, duo on the defensive line, right? But that being said,
that line better be better. That offensive line.
It is almost impossible to go against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill unless they're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. I'll say
yeah. So
Nico,
you mentioned Baker, and I just want to say, he is the only quarterback to ever get drafted to a team with 1 or less wins and turn every single season into a non-losing season. Baker Mayfield single-handedly, whether you guys realize it or not, and I'm not super high on Baker Mayfield. I'm not bragging about him. He's not one of my top even 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. But you got to give him that credit. He's basically single-handedly turned that team around. I know he dealt with like 6 different coaches, and he still managed to have winning seasons. Especially last season, huge surprise. But I think with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, 2 of the best running backs in the NFL on the same team, OBJ a year back from injury.
Him and OBJ don't mix well.
Mahomes off the field.
If you look at him and OBJ do not have good chemistry. Like
OBJ
honestly better off without OBJ. I think OBJ is just garbage anyways, but
he's the most overhyped wide receiver in the history of the NFL.
He's the Jorge Masvidal of the NFL. Overhyped.
Yeah, I like Masvidal.
Masvidal is
he's got the quickest knockout in UFC history.
And that's why he's the most famous fighter ever, dude. Did you see what happened against Kamaru Usman? He got knocked the fuck out.
Hey, and listen. This is a football podcast.
Fair enough.
We're talking football here. We'll have another podcast for UFC.
Shit, dude. I feel strongly about it. Jorge Masvidal doesn't belong anywhere in the top rankings, and neither does OBJ. That's why I think he's the Jorge Masvidal of the NFL.
There's a hole in my cup.
All right. Well, we're clearly not going to agree on this game.
Dude, I mean, all right, look, if you're listening, take the Chiefs minus 5.5. It is a blessing to get them by less than a touchdown. They're going to win by touchdown.
Browns money line, baby.
Nico, if you want to make a side bet, you take the Browns, I'll take the Chiefs. Straight up. No spreads, no money lines, nothing. Straight up, Browns, Chiefs. What do you want to do?
We'll do another pitcher, but if you win, I'm buying you domestic. If I win, I want some import. Only fair since it's a 5-point spread.
You're on, stranger. Let's go.
All right. We got 3 more games. Let's get going. We got the Packers at the Saints. Jameis Winston making his debut since the 2019 season. Packers are minus 195 road favorites, plus 165 for the Saints on the money line. Minus 3.5 is the spread, 49.5 is the point total. I will say something real quick. I've been saying this all off season long. You can look at my TikTok videos on Real Talk Sports. You can listen to the podcast. I said Aaron Rodgers was going to play this year. And I said when the lines came out for week 1, the Packers are underdogs right now because of the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers. Hammer the money line now, get the value, and when he comes back, they will be favorites, and that's exactly what happened. Now I just need them to win, and I look like a genius. I do like the Packers in this game, though.
Jace, I would have to agree with you. It doesn't make you look like a genius at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any uncertainty with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm a genius.
Reigning
I'm a
MVP.
superstar.
He's Aaron G.D. Rodgers. All right. He's got Devontae Adams on the side. He's got Aaron Jones behind him, checking out his backside. I mean, the Saints. I like Jameis Winston, man. He's gonna be slinging it down the field. But look at his wide receivers. Who does he have as a wide receiver right now?
Marquez Callaway.
Who
Traquan
does he
Smith.
have as a wide receiver right now? Don't say Callaway.
He's got Traquan Smith. I mean,
I think they're gonna rely-
I'm just answering his question. I'm not saying they're good.
I agree with you. His core is trash.
It's terrible,
Yeah.
and he's a throwing quarterback. They're going to have to rely heavily on Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
right? Alvin Kamara is the only hope that they have in anything.
I agree.
Listen, it's not even in New Orleans. It's at a neutral field. That just makes more of a reason to go with the Packers.
Yeah, where are they
the
playing,
line
Dallas?
was 4.5
Jacksonville.
in Packers' favor, and
Jacksonville.
it dropped down to 3.5. So I guess people like Winston for whatever reason.
It's because of
I
that
gotta
preseason
agree.
game. They
gotta
forget
agree.
what Winston does. He does that shit, and then he also does the other stuff.
Well, yeah, 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in a losing season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really too concerned about Winston. Maybe for some fantasy value on given games, if you're going to pick and play when you want to play him. But Packers, I think this is the easiest consensus bet of the night. I will lay the 3.5. I will take them on the money line. I will put them in any teaser you want, any parlay you want. Doesn't matter. Give me the Packers. And yeah, I got nothing else. Give me the Packers.
I'm
And
with
that's coming
you
from a
on
Bears
Packers.
fan.
That's the best bet right there. Best bet right there, Jace.
We got that in the parlay. How y'all feel about it? Packers minus 3.5.
Put it
Lock
in
it
the
in.
parlay. Put it in the soiree. Put it in the quarry. It's a no-brainer.
Also, I do just have to admit, I just remembered, Jace, and I don't know if you remember this, but it was probably, I'm sure you remember this. It was probably 2 to 3 months ago. You shot me a text, and you literally told me, take the Packers line right now while they're still underdogs.
Thank you. I get my credit where credit's due. Well, apparently
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll
a
give you
genius
that
for
one.
calling that Aaron Rodgers would be back for the season.
I didn't
Everyone
believe
was
you.
saying Rodgers wasn't going to come back.
As a
Who
Who
Bears
the
fan,
hell
I
is
did
Aaron
not.
Rodgers? You know I don't
wanted
follow the
division.
NHL.
What? All right.
It's an Anchorman quote. You wouldn't understand.
Oh, I love the Anchorman. I just didn't pick up on it, man. All
All
right.
right, next game, Jace. Next
game, we got the Broncos at the Giants. Giants are plus 140 or underdogs, at home. Broncos minus 160. Broncos favored by 3. Minus 3 is the spread. 42, pretty low, is the total for this game. Broncos are going to have a good defense, and I guess that's why the total is so low. There's some uncertainty about Saquon. I would love to hear how y'all feel about him and just overall how you guys feel about this game.
Nico, I'll step in first here. I most definitely have the Broncos over the Giants. I don't like Daniel Jones. I'm not a Saquon. I wouldn't draft him at the 15th pick in fantasy. That's just my opinion. I think he's very injury prone. I think he's going to be great if he doesn't, but I don't think they have a great supporting cast. The Broncos, however, you're right about the defense. With a great addition, Nico will like this one. Kyle Fuller from the Bears. Von Miller's back. The Broncos defense is going to be a sleeper defense of the year. I think
I don't think it should be a sleeper.
According to fantasy draft boards.
Yeah, I guess.
For defense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's how I base my rankings or my opinion. Not opinion.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Judy's going to have a breakout year. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, him and Cortland Sutton, that's a great wide receiver duo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, top 10. Like,
We're just going to forget
solid.
about Tim Patrick and everything he did last season, too. Like, we could almost consider that a
Yeah, but that was with Cortland Sutton gone. I mean, yeah, okay, that's a good trio. But, I mean, when Cortland Sutton's back, I'm not sure that'll take some attention
That's
away
true,
from
and they still have
Patrick.
Noah Fant taking targets away. So I get you.
Yeah,
I
but
get
no,
you.
Tim Patrick, yeah, he's good. I agree with you, Nico. But yeah, probably just because of the injury for Cortland Sutton. But how are y'all feeling? -3 in favor of the Broncos. So how do you guys feel?
I'll take
So
that.
One
I
second.
would too. And this game's very interesting. I actually made a side bet with one of my buddies. We were arguing back and forth about this game so much about the Giants and Broncos possibility on the season that I had to make a season-long bet that the Broncos are going to finish better than the Giants this year.
Oh my
I think the
God, dude.
Giants are atrocious. I think that's the easiest bet I've ever made in my life. But we'll see how that
You're
turns
gonna
out.
win that bet.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
what I'm
no-brainer.
saying. I love the
And-
Broncos today. I love them on Sunday. And here's my major reasoning. The Broncos scream Super Bowl caliber team minus a quarterback. Drew Lock was not it. Teddy Bridgewater is the most conservative quarterback in the NFL. He's safe. He doesn't turn the ball over much. He's not going to have those big explosive plays. But with like Vic Fangio and their coaching staff in Denver, they're very old school. Let's run the ball down your throat. Let's make some passes. Let's control the ball. Let's have a low-scoring game and really strong defense. Go back to the defenses win championships like they did back in the olden days. I know the NFL is changing and evolving, but it's not like the Giants are the evolved team that the NFL has become now. This is another very easy bet for me. Give me Broncos -3.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate for the Broncos because I agree they're going to be a good team. It's just a tough division. They got the Chiefs and the Chargers. It's going to be tough to. I mean, they can make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the division. I agree though. A quarterback away, and it's a phenomenal team. I do like -3 as well. I didn't have it as a best bet, but I do like it. I do appreciate it. Trevor, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't think this is the best gauge to predict any future games, but they are 4-0 in the preseason, gaining a little momentum. I know it's just preseason and people talk preseason, but gaining that 4-0 in the preseason. They got their defense ready to go. Kyle Fuller, Von Miller, Justin Strnad, one of the homeboys.
Jay Garbs.
Broncos, baby. I think he's going to have a good year. When he gets his shot, he's going to be killer. And you're right. I think they are a good team. I don't know about Super Bowl caliber, but I haven't done as much looking into it as you have probably with the Broncos. But I think this is a no-brainer. The Broncos are taking over the Giants. Easy money.
I would be okay with putting them.
Add it to the parlay. Add it to the Real Talk Sports parlay.
It's getting a little long, isn't it?
Just make 3 games.
Okay. I thought we had a fourth. We didn't.
Well, I wanted Jags -3.5, which I absolutely love. But we couldn't get a consensus, and now it's a little too late. We got 3 in there. It's getting a little long, like you said. Let's move on to prime time, the final game of this leg for Sunday football. We got the Bears, Nico's team. And a rule, Nico's not allowed to talk about this game, so we don't want to hear it, Nico. I'm sure you got.
Actually, you do want to hear my opinion.
I'm sure you got facts on facts for this game. The Rams are -425 favorites. Bears +320 underdogs. The line is set at 8, and the over/under is set at 46.5. Nico, I guess we'll start with you, man. I guess we got to.
All right,
take off the shirt and the hat first.
I am going to tell you right now. I am going to spit these facts with as little bias as I can control. All right. That being said, hate Andy Dalton. Biggest waste of $10 million a franchise has ever spent. We got Justin Fields, and I am patiently awaiting the day that he takes the field and becomes very dominant for generations to come. But it's week 1, and we have Andy Dalton as a starter. Our defense is looking all right. Our offensive weapons are looking all right. Matthew Stafford is in a new offense. Keep that in mind. Remember Tom Brady last season? He started out slow. Matthew Stafford, I predict the same thing. I think Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. He can finish the season very well. But I think week 1, week 2, week 3, he's not going to blend as well as he could with that offense. 2 good defenses, and I think the market is overreacting. I can't take a side because, to be honest, if I took a side, it would be Rams money line. But nobody wants to bet a money line on a line that big. What is it, 7.5 points?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not touching that. I'm not laying that juice. And I'm also not betting against my Bears. What I am going to do is I'm going to bet the over. 44 points. I know it's 2 good defenses, but it's primetime game week 1. There's going to be some errors on the defense. Allen Robinson's going to get a touchdown. David
At
Montgomery
least.
is going to be running around the field. We're going to see Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods probably both score, and they're going to figure out that Rams backfield pretty soon. Andy Dalton will probably even throw a pick six. Let's be real. So give me the over.
Yeah, and Jace, to add on that, as much as I'd like to take the Bears because I like their talent at certain positions, Allen Robinson, the second, I'm hoping he has 3 touchdowns and 180 yards, mainly because he's on my fantasy team. But David Montgomery, last 5 games of the year last year, last 6 games of the year last year, 20-plus points, 5-6 games in a row. Had a stellar second half of the season. I think he's ready to go this year. Andy Dalton can suck it. Justin Fields in the damn game. I don't care if he comes in the second quarter, third quarter. Andy Dalton needs to sit on the damn sideline and watch Justin Fields take over because that's the only shot that they have in having a good season.
One thing about the Rams defense, though,
Rams defense,
they lost some guys, bro. And Jalen Ramsey's going to carry some more weight this season. And look, I'm a Florida State fan. You can see that in the back. He's a bit of a diva. He's not going to be happy about having to carry more weight than if he doesn't want to. And if they struggle, that could be a recipe for disaster in the long future. Ultimately, I think the Rams are going to kill the Bears. Sorry, Nico, but
like I said, I can't bet them.
I would
What's
not.
your definition
I would not
of this
take,
murder?
I mean, I'm not going to take -8. I know I said I would have for the 49ers and the Lions, but that's completely different because the Lions are atrocious and the Bears are just along the line of
we at least have a good defense.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely do. I actually like the under a little more than the over 46.5. Just because of those defenses, man. I just don't know. I just don't see really Andy Dalton finding much success against Los Angeles.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And like you said, I think Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. I mean, I'm most curious to see the running back situation. Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel, see how they do that. But I mean, it's hard to be. Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. He's got 2 great offensive wide receivers, 2 good running backs. We'll see how they handle that. I got the Rams, but I don't think they'll. I think it'll. I would take the under on this one.
Okay.
Two against one. I'm the contrarian in this podcast. I like
it. You've always been a bold guy, Nico. You've always been a bold guy.
Hey,
yeah, you are.
It works for me. It's how I turned $20 into $2,000 one time betting, and lost it all the next day.
Jason, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have one final game to cover.
Oh, we got the Monday night.
No, that's for another podcast. Monday Night Football.
Here we go.
I'll keep my opinions to myself then.
Here, I'll let you guys just since you.
Come on.
I mean, it should be pretty obvious who you think is going to win. I'm not going to say anything about the game, but if you want to say,
it's not obvious though.
I won't give any stats, but if you want to win money, Raiders money line.
Dude, okay. This is why I wanted to have this conversation because it is not obvious. I think the Raiders are. Are we allowed to chat about this?
It's fine. No. I'm not going to say anything about it. Give me a quick spiel on why the Raiders are going to win.
Here is my spiel. First of all, let's look at Baltimore, right? RB1, J.K. Dobbins goes down ACL.
Mm-hmm.
RB2, Gus Edwards, ACL, out for the year.
Justice Hill.
Everyone for the year. Fantasy leagues is picking up Le'Veon Bell.
Marcus Peters.
Just out of the practice squad last week, right?
No, you're good. Keep going.
I thought you were trying to give me signal here. Raiders.
No, I'm saying Marcus Peters out for the year.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't even know that. See, this is why we converse.
It's all good.
But you look at the Raiders: Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Henry Ruggs. I think they're going to have a great year, and I definitely think they're going to upset the Ravens. As much as I love Lamar Jackson and some other people on that team, I think the Raiders are going to take this.
Okay. Nico,
I like it too. I mean, the Ravens are a defense and a run game, and their defense just got injured, and the run game just got injured. So give me the Raiders, the underdogs that beat KC last year. Like Derek Carr, I can't say he's elite. He's probably the most elite quarterback without being elite in the NFL. He just isn't a crappy situation. But I think he can take it game one.
I mean, I wouldn't
It
say
doesn't even matter who's
having
at
Darren
QB.
Waller and is crappy.
I'm
I
more
mean,
referring to Coach Gruden and being the old school running offense when Derek Carr needs to pass the ball.
I love me.
That's
some
more
Gruden,
of what I
dude.
meant by that.
Yeah.
I like Josh Jacobs. He's one of my favorite sleepers. I picked him up in multiple fantasy leagues as well. Very late
Oh,
in the rounds.
okay.
Sleeper,
Josh
Who
sleeper.
brought this
Jacobs.
guy on this podcast?
He's great. Josh Jacobs is awesome, but not for fantasy.
Like I said, I'm referring to the draft boards. I'm not talking about what people's opinions of him. How low he was on the draft board was very surprising to me. I think he's killer, and he's going to freaking dominate this year.
Trevor Chanel has been removed from the podcast.
Don't you do it.
Guys,
I do need another
we
whiskey,
gotta.
though.
Oh, you can get one because we are done here. Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. So let's recap real quick our Real Talk Sports parlay. We have Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles over 48.5, Packers -3.5 against the New Orleans Saints, and Broncos -3 against the New York Football Giants. We'll see how it goes. I like it. I'll put in that into a sports betting site. I'll see what the odds are for that parlay to hit. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Is there anything that you would like to leave off before we part ways?
Yeah, I just got one thing to say. Trevor, where's your Corona? You look like Snoop Dogg. I swear this is a Corona commercial.
Nico,
Yeah,
I
that's a
will
good background, man. Come on.
listen. I'll tell you this. I love me a good Corona. There is nothing more American than a Mexican import.
I'm done with you.
That's awesome. That's funny. All right, guys.
Jace, thank you so much for having us, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It was awesome. Feel free to come back on anytime. I will for sure ask you guys in the future. You guys did a great job. We will see you guys later. All right.
All right. Sounds good, buddy.
Adios.
Thank you, Jace.
Go Bucks, baby. Go Bucks. It's fun.
Oh, not recording.